It's important that when we're explaining CAS to other individuals, we use language that they understand. So, first and foremost, childhood apraxia of speech is not a medical diagnosis. It is a label for a speech sound disorder. It is neurological in nature, but what you have to understand is that speech and the ability to make noises and words is so complex.
So I think it's hard to explain what CAS is when you don't have CAS yourself. But to take a stab at it from a parent's perspective, I would say it's a disconnect from the brain to the mouth. So imagine the brain knows what it wants to say and it's trying to tell the mouth what to say, but there's almost like a miswiring in there, and the mouth just does something totally different and outblurts a different answer, while the child will still look at you and act like he or she just said it correctly when in fact you heard something totally different, because again the brain is telling that child that I said it correctly and is going to look at you like, why are you not understanding me, when it should be simple, and it just comes out jumbled.
So, childhood apraxia of speech starts in the brain, and the students plan what they're going to say, but sometimes the messages can get interrupted. So, the brain has difficulty telling the mouth what to do and what sounds to use and how to put all the sounds together. So, such as a train has a schedule with so many components that have to go exactly according to plan to get the passengers to their destinations, our brains have to precisely plan and move certain muscles very specifically with accurate force and timing and speed. And when there's a breakdown in that process, then the message may break down. The child will have difficulty saying the words.
A lot of times it's just like teaching a sport where you have to be so specific and you're telling somebody how to move your body so that they start to learn how to get better at that sport. Sometimes we start with small amounts so that they can understand movement in general. The next thing that it is that muscles that they're using in their mouth are not weak. They know what they're wanting to do. It's just getting it to the right degree, the right movement, the right force, the right tension.
So I explain it kind of an elevator speech, something that's quick and I can get through to people in a short amount of time. And the way I explain it is as I compare it to for most children, speech is it just happens normally. It's like the words are going down and they come right out. It's like a train going down the track. So it just flows and everything just flows right. But for our kids, and we don't know the reason, but it's almost like there's something interrupting that track. There's it's they're not flowing right somewhere in there. It's things get kind of jumbled. So what we have to do is we have to create a workaround with that track. You know, we have to go to intensive speech therapy, and the kids put in the work and the families put in the work with the goal of intelligible speech. And the goal, it's kind of like you build a new track and then you get the words. In theory it all flows out the same once you build the new track.
So, when this happens, the words might come out differently each time. The flow of speech might be impeded, and that makes it more difficult to understand the children. And a child with apraxia may know how to say all the sounds individually, but they will often have trouble planning on how the sounds go together to make intelligible words.
If the children with childhood apraxia speech receive the right type of therapy, they can make amazing progress in improving their ability to speak. Children with childhood apraxia speech also generally have normal receptive language. They know the words that they want to use, but sometimes it may look like a word finding deficit, and it's not. It's just hard for them to be able to move all of those muscles to send out the right message at the right time. But the biggest thing that you need to remember is to give them a lot of patience and support, because they can do this and they know that they need help. They just need to be able to give them the right encouragement.